Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back to another Wednesday game review. And as promised, it's October, you guessed it. I'm going to quickly review Beyond the Supernatural First Edition, not Second Edition or Revised or whatever the newest version is called. And there's some reasons for that, and I'm going to go into those right now. Right off the bat, the new edition only has the psychic, racial, and professional character classes, or whatever they're called nowadays. And the original version actually had the arcane, the mystic sort of occupational character classes, the professions, whatever you want to call them. And it's more of a complete all-in-one game without leaving out all of the things that your players are probably going to want to run besides just the psychic character classes. Don't get me wrong, most of those are in here. The newer version has a few additional psychic character classes, which I'm all in favor of, but let's face it, guys, it's going to be 6 months to a year or more before excuse me, Palladium Books gets around to putting out the arcanes. I mean, I could be wrong, and it could come out in the next couple of months, but as you recall from Max's interview with the staff from Palladium, it's going to be a while. It's not their number one priority, and to me that's kind of a ball that was dropped. Had it released during September or October, early October, it would have sold like hotcakes. Let's face it, October is the month for horror and the supernatural, especially in the way of role-playing and tabletop games. And this book, for me, was an absolute blast to play back in the day with my friends. And one of the reasons this game was so much fun was because of something called victim games. It allowed you to roll up very, very mundane character types to emulate or simulate, or however you want to put it, playing games where your characters were highly likely to die. It was called Game Master Section, a different look at the horror genre. Now, maybe this was in the second edition, but I think they kind of passed on that in the newer version. But it was role-playing the victim character. And it was a very small section, but it had everything you needed to generate characters that were children from the age of 4 to 10 years old, roughly, on up to senior citizens. It had a special chart for how many dice you rolled for each stat, depending on the age category. Those included child, preteen, teenager, young adult, middle-aged, and senior citizen. And believe it or not, back in the day, mind you, this was 30 plus years ago, I believe, we played some characters that were the equivalent teenagers on bikes. If you're familiar with that particular game, I may have gotten the title wrong, or even Stranger Things. Our characters were literally 12 to 14-year-old kids getting involved in some supernatural stuff, mostly vampires, which, there might have been some ghosts and werewolves, things like that. But of course, most of them died, or the few that were able to retire grew up and went on other adventures as other characters. I think 3 survived out of the 7 or 8 that were in the group of kids back in the day. But it allowed you to run people that were not so special, and just to see if they could survive whatever the GM was going to throw at you. Your typical, summer camp slasher movie, or your teen wolf movies, or your, kids stumble upon a ghost in a haunted house and no one believes them. All the different tropes that you can imagine could be played with just a few pages of, I believe it was 1, 2, 3, precisely 4 pages of extras at the back of the book, instead of trying to run your more heroic characters that most people gravitate toward. This allowed you to play some people that shouldn't survive, and if they did, it was by the skin of their teeth, and boy, what a story did they have to tell. Of course, nobody would believe them, but that was part of the fun of the game. We played this sort of game for, I want to say, 2 years. It wasn't a really long stretch, but during that time, kids would, get gobbled up, killed, whatever. We'd roll up some new friends to come in, cousins, brothers and sisters, that whole sort of thing, until, the last boss fight, which was, in fact, a vampire. And I'm not going to tell you how they did away with the boss vampire, because it was pretty ingenious and involved, a bit of luring and bait characters. And mind you, out of the, I want to say 7, only 4 survived. I could be wrong. Like I said, it's been decades. But when I saw Max doing his review of this book a while back, that's Max from Legion of Myth, I wanted to wait, give his video some time to do its thing, and go back, because this book really was more of a everything in one game. That's all you needed. There were, I think, the Box Nightmares supplement, which we had, and of course I loaned it out, never to see it again. Remember, folks, only your friends steal your books. If you're ever missing a book, go to the last person you loaned it out to, and rest assured they're not done with it. Whether that's going to be a permanent thing or not, that's up to you guys to figure out. But this book was a blast for us. It's still totally viable, and any minor rule disagreements or changes with the current thing, you can just stick with this book. This book was, let me see when it was printed to give you an idea how long it survived. Fourth printing 1991, but it originally came out in 1988. Okay, I'm not sure how long second edition rolled out onto the shelves, but pretty sure it was at least 10 years. And for 10 years, people played this game with no qualms, no bitching, pissing, or moaning about, this or that. It's a solid game still. And because the second edition is out, it's probably pretty cheap to get. Now, if you already own second edition, this would still be a good book to get, just to get the take on the magic using character professions, or just for the victim pages alone. I've paid a lot more than $15 for 4 pages before. Maybe that's not your way of doing things, but it's got a lot to offer still today. And as a standalone, even without the supplement, you could probably pick this up and read through it in time to have a big game on Halloween. Remember, Halloween's on a Monday, so that gives you Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to try to whip out a good Halloween themed game. And if your players dig it, you could move on and adventure well into November and December. But there's still plenty of time to pull this gem out of your archives, out of your library, get it on the table, roll up some characters, and see who makes it through to November 1st. Okay, folks? That's pretty much it. I just wanted to give a quick review on a classic, one of my favorites of all time, just because of all the fun I had with my old friends long ago, when we were just, not just starting out, but just getting into Palladium, because Palladium Books has so much to offer for you guys. If you're not a fan, you can at least appreciate the alignment system that works in every game. It's one of the best things ever added to the gaming world. For those of you who use alignments or good and evil, that sort of idea can't be topped. So until next time, folks, have a great day, happy holidays, and I will be seeing you guys again throughout the day, because I got like 2 more videos to pump out. One with my regular Why We Play the Game video series, and then I'll be hanging out with everybody over at Gatekeepers between 5 and 6 o'clock avocado time. So until then, folks, have a great day. We'll see you guys real soon.